of people, but it's mostly about this country, this state, being at a crossroads. We have two directions we can go right now. The direction we're headed, a larger government, less individual freedom, higher taxes, slower economic growth, and a move away from the Constitution. On the other hand, we got something different. We got economic growth, we got individual prosperity, individual liberty, personal responsibility, accountability. These are the things that as Americans we demand from our government. And this is a year that we can turn around this country, change the direction we're on, and return to those values. So we're 3 days away, guys. 3 days. And this is all on you. We're up here. We want the privilege of serving you. We want the privilege of representing you, of being held accountable by you. Yeah. But it's on you. That's right. Yeah. Woo! So I mentioned a minute ago the idea of two visions. That vision of the larger government, the more intrusive, the higher regulations, the slow growth, the less individual responsibility and accountability. That vision ends November 2nd. And that other vision, the vision of a strong national defense, of a strong America, of individual freedom, of prosperity, of growth for our generation, our children, and our children's children, that begins November 3rd. So once again, I thank you for coming out this morning. I thank you for keeping America great. And now I'm going to turn it over to our next state auditor, Mary Z.
Doesn't it make sense to elect an auditor as our state auditor? I'm the only CPA and auditor of the race, and this is the year that we can make a huge change in Massachusetts. We have a great lineup on this stage to make a difference for you. We've been campaigning hard and hard and hard for months, and you guys have made all the difference. You've stood by the candidates. It's you that have made the difference. Your volunteerism, standing up, holding the signs, putting the lawn signs up, coming to rallies like this. This is phenomenal. This is phenomenal. You guys make all the difference in the world. It's a pleasure to be up here. And it is my honor to introduce the next Lieutenant Governor of the state of Massachusetts. Richard just say
an incredible crowd today, and as Charlie and I have traveled around this state, I wish you could see what I've seen, because everywhere we go, every region we're in, the people of this state are ready for a change. How about you? You know, Sean's right. This is a historic election. This is an election that comes along once in a generation that gives the people of this state and this country the opportunity to set the path we're going to take for the next decade or two. Now, can we let Deval Patrick in for another 4 years? No! Do you want more and higher taxes? No! Do you want more overspending? No! You want him to kill and more jobs here in Massachusetts? So we're all on the same page. And over the next few days, we have to go out, find our friends, our relatives, get them all to the polls, because this is all about turnout in the very end. I have the easiest job today of anyone at all. and that is to introduce my former colleague, my good friend, the person who's most responsible for setting the spark that set off a revolution both here in Massachusetts and throughout the country. He's been a great United States Senator, a great leader, and more importantly, a great inspiration for everybody who wants a change in government. Scott Brown.
It's great to be up here on stage. I see Jim McKenna here. Good luck, Jim. I wish you well. Sean, you're doing a great job battling against the machine. Congratulations, Mary. Richard and Charlie, obviously I'll talk about you in a minute, but it's good to be back here in Foxboro. It took me forever to get here. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to leave here and go down and do some laps down the Hockomock. The old Zoetrope, I love it. So listen, first of all, thank you for everything that you all did on January 19th. We sent a very, very powerful message to Beacon Hill and Capitol Hill that we've had enough. We've had enough of the overspending, the overtaxation, the interference in our everyday lives. Right now, it's one of the worst business climates in decades, not only here in Massachusetts, but throughout the country. And we're battling every day to try to make a difference, to keep more money in your pockets, to give you the opportunities, both you and your family and your friends, to make a living, to go to the movies, to go to the Zoetrope, to go down to the Hockomock, to go down to Patriot Place and just have a good time and not worry about whether you can pay the bills the next day. And I'll tell you what, the way things are going here right now in Massachusetts, I'm nervous. I'm very scared. I'm very concerned not only about our kids, our grandkids, our great-grandkids, the overspending, the overtaxation, the terrible business climate, and you have an opportunity right now in a couple of days to send a very, very powerful message. Are you tired of the 3 speakers that have been indicted? Yeah! Tired of the senator putting money down her shirt? Yeah! You're tired of the overspending, the overtaxation, the complete lack of attention to the one thing that can get us going again, and that's jobs. Yeah. Fixing our economy and jobs, and the person that's going to be able to take us to that point where we can actually make a very big difference here and get us on the path back to economic recovery and be able to compete globally, not just throughout this country, is this guy right here. I have so many amazing memories. I'm getting kind of flashbacks. Flashbacks, a lot of very similar, familiar faces. The energy level is great. I mean, there's a lot of other things you could be doing today, but you're here. You're here to show these people right here taking pictures of you that you're drawing a line in the sand. You are drawing that line in the sand, and you're just saying, you know what? I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go with the Baker to say ticket, who's going to bring us back to economic prosperity, who's going to hold the line on taxes, who's going to fight for every dollar that you can keep in your pocketbooks and wallets. So I'm going to introduce you to the next governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Charlie Baker.
This morning, you know, it's 3 days to Election Day. 3 days. And we are thrilled to see all of you out here today because you know that we have a choice in 3 days. We can choose 4 more years of Governor Patrick. 4 more years of no reform on Beacon Hill. 4 more years of higher taxes on Beacon Hill. 4 more years of job-killing regulation on Beacon Hill. 4 more years of wasteful spending on Beacon Hill. 4 more years of local aid cuts on your your schools and your police departments and your fire departments. Or you can choose 4 years of reform and restructuring on Beacon Hill. 4 years of taking on the special interests on Beacon Hill. 4 years of fighting for the people who pay the bills. 4 years of focusing on jobs, 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 and getting people back to work. Thank you. You know, we have been at this, okay, for 15 months, and no one has put more into this than my wife. 15 months from one end of Massachusetts to the other, and let me tell you, I'm 53, I've spent 46 of my 53 years here, and I always thought this was a great state. But after 15 months of getting to go from one end to the other, and having this license as a candidate for governor to walk in and out of pretty much anybody's business or anybody's shop floor, or anybody's loading dock, or anybody's living room or kitchen or backyard, the people of Massachusetts are very special, and you deserve a far better state government than the one you have now. That entrepreneurial spirit is everywhere in Massachusetts. I mean, I've run into so many people running third-generation small businesses, and they all started with the same thing, which is, I got an idea. I got an idea has been driving this state and driving this economy for 200 years. As people think of different ways to do things, different ways to solve problems, and they pass those ideas down from one generation to the next, and that becomes the way we adapt. We live by our wits in Massachusetts. This is a wonderful state in which we have been able over and over and over again to reinvent ourselves. And it wasn't the government that reinvented us, it was you who reinvented Massachusetts. And I worry a lot about where, we have 3 kids, I worry a lot about where our 3 kids will make that big decision to plant a flag and make a life. Because other states are working hard to compete with us for jobs and economic opportunity. We face fiscal and economic crisis currently, and the governor thinks we're on the mend and on the move. Massachusetts lost 21,000 jobs in September. 21,000 families lost their jobs in September. The largest single job loss in 1 month in 20 years in Massachusetts. The largest job loss per capita of any state in the country. And the governor said, hey, we're heading in the right direction. I don't talk down Massachusetts, but I believe that your governor needs to be grounded in the reality of what is. Grounded in the reality of what is. We face significant economic challenges. We face a $2 billion budget deficit on Beacon Hill. Thank you very much, Governor Patrick. He won't even acknowledge there's a $2 billion deficit because he has no plan to fix it. If you go to his campaign website, there's not one idea on it. Not one idea to reform or restructure state government. You go to our website, and you'll get tired of all the ideas and the proposals and the possibilities that we put on our site. Because we believe... We will But we will win on Tuesday. We have a lot to do between now and Tuesday. The big machine, as Scott Brown always called it, will be fighting tooth and nail between now and then to take this election from you. But we are not going to let them take this election from you, and we're not going to let them because we're going to make those 10 phone calls, we're going to send out those emails, and we're going to make sure every single person who cares about the economic future of this great state for themselves and their kids is out there voting on Election Day. We're going to make sure that every single person who has the ability to get folks to the polls is going to get folks to the polls on Election Day, and we are going to send a loud message to Beacon Hill that the status quo, the insider deals, and the baloney that goes on up there day after day after day is done, and we are going to take back our state. And in January, I promise you this, Beacon Hill will never be the same.